We got our man coming back. It's a beautiful thing, and I know plenty of other tigers and tigresses know this man out here. Our man, Mr. Bud Rolfs. And Bud Rolfs, folks, is the king of trading ranges, primary trading ranges, mid-PTRs, channels. Bottom line, he was growling and prowling each and every day with you out here for over 10 years. He's been in retirement for a couple of years, and the bottom line is he is back. And I want you to go to the front page of our website at TFNN, and Bud's going to tell you what it's all about. Bud Rolfs, what's going on?
Hey, Tommy, it's good to be back here on TFNN. You know, there's nobody in the world as great as those Tiger listeners out there, the Tigers and Tigresses. They're a class act, and, you know, anybody that hangs around Tom OBrien, the class just rubs off. I know.
Well, no, listen, I appreciate it. But listen, we really appreciate you, number one. What Bud has done, folks, he's done a special report. And, you know, for all the new listeners, if you don't know Bud, you're going to know him, okay? Because Bud Rolfs is one of the best technicians far beyond anything in the world. And it's so clear. His ranges, his consolidations, I'm sure you've heard me talk about many times the Channel King. Well, let's go through it, because Bud's going to do a special one-time report, folks, with a 90-minute webinar. It's going to be next Thursday night, March 21st, 6:30 to 8:30. Bottom line, he's going to be talking about what's going on in the markets for quite a while. So talk to me about what's going to be in this report, Bud.
Right, Tom. As Tom said, folks, next Thursday, March 21st, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be doing a special market analysis webinar, and it's going to be called The Coming 4 Years in the Market, Misfortune or Miss-a-Fortune.
Oh, I love it.
And, Tom, you know, over the last 4 years, since 2009 when the major markets bottomed,
yes,
you know, they've all made major moves higher ever since.
Right.
And recently, you've heard a lot of to-do about the Dow Industrials just over their all-time highs.
Yeah.
And the S&P 500 is creeping up right to the boundary of its making a new all-time high. And, you know, Tom, you know that what that means as a technician. We're either at a top,
yeah,
ready to start back down, or we're going to break out and make an unbelievable new bull market run, one or the other.
Yes.
And the trillion-dollar question, therefore, is how are our TFNN listeners ever going to objectively, not emotionally or, you know, in a biased way, figure out which of those two things is going to happen?
Right.
And once they do, how are they going to be safe? How are they going to quickly know which way they put their money, which way, how are they going to know if they're wrong before they do much damage?
Yes. And that's what's so cool about where we are, Bud, right?
What's that?
That's what's so cool about where we are in the market right now, too.
The timing couldn't be better.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you need to know now because that S&P is right at the cusp.
Yes, no doubt.
Okay, it's right there. It's either going to do it or it's not going to do it right now.
Right. And, folks, just so you understand something, the way that Bud teaches is extraordinary, and what's going to be inside that webinar is the tools that you are going to have the fishing rod. This is not going to be, you know, and that's what is so dynamic about what he does. Go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
No, that's okay. Well, how can you know, folks? You think about this, all right? Well, most people are going to either read the Wall Street Journal and listen to those guys, or they're going to watch the stock shows on television. Now, in either place, the pros from Dover there are going to talk about the Dow breakout. I mean, if you turn on the TV, all you're going to hear is, oh, it's 7 or 9 straight days, whatever it is here, where the Dow's made higher highs.
Yeah, today's 10, and it broke. Yesterday was 16 years, so I don't know what it is today. Probably 100 years.
60, you know, and that's all you hear about.
Right.
Well, Tom, the Dow is 30 stocks.
Yes.
30 stocks. Well, you know, how many thousands of stocks are there? What are we listening to 30 stock signals for?
Great point.
You know.
Yes.
And then they'll talk about the S&P. which is right at that 1550 area, which is critical, right?
Yes.
That's the high. But on that one, they're wishy-washy. They're waiting to see what it does. So
Okay.
they're not telling you anything about the S&P.
Right.
Now, that's 500 stocks, so that is a signal worth hearing. But on that one, they got nothing to say. They're all waiting to see.
Right.
So they're not telling you anything about that one. So they're giving you a 30-stock signal that it has broken out, but they're not saying it's going to continue to go anywhere. They're just saying it's made a new all-time high.
Yes.
You know, and that's a 30-stock signal. And the NASDAQ, they're not saying anything about that because they're waiting for it to go to 5,000.
Right.
Well, meanwhile, they all missed a major market technical signal that happened a year ago in 2012.
Right.
They all missed it. And I'm going to be talking to the TFNN listeners about that come March 21st. And I'm going to show them in spades, that they've all the pros from Dover have missed this signal that happened a year ago, and it is one of the keys to the fate of the market over the next 4 years. And the only place in the world that you're going to hear this is right here at TFNN.com.
Yeah, and listen, man, we really appreciate it. You know, I was talking to Bud folks, and I mean, I know a lot of you Tigers and Tigresses know Bud, but when you see, you know, what you're going to learn, it's absolutely incredible. There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
And Tom, I tell you, you know, when I saw this,
yeah,
you know, and it's like, you know, they say that the guy who discovered rubber or whatever, he dropped it on the floor and it bounced, and he did it by accident.
Yes, yes.
You know, and the guy who discovered penicillin, you know, he accidentally had some moldy bread.
Right.
Well, that's what happened here. I stumbled over this. I wasn't looking for it.
Right.
You know, I stumbled over this, and you know, some of the great things are they just come to you.
Well,
and when I saw this, you know, I have a dent in my desk from where my jaw hit the desk. Okay.
And see, folks, he's got a great sense of humor, too.
Well, you know, I saw this, and this pattern, I am going to show you. Now, folks, I am not just going to give you my opinion on what's going to happen over the next 4 years. I am going to show you proof, okay? I am going to show you patterns that go repeated over and over again. And I'm going to show you how when these patterns happen, a certain result occurs. You know, and
yes.
Technical analysis is filled with if-then statements. You know, if this happens, then you're going to get this result.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you that there's one of these big if-thens in the market.
Which is so cool. No, I'm with you. Right, right.
You know, and they all missed it. It's amazing.
You just stay right there. You know, we're going to take a quick break, folks, and we're going to come back, and Bud's going to go through it. And then we're going to go through, you know, what he's been up to, too. I know he's got these grandchildren going. These kids up in Nashville, New Hampshire, folks, they're just spoiled beyond belief. It's a beautiful thing. Bud Rolfs, Tom OBrien, all you Tigers and Tigresses, you stay right there. We're coming right back. Welcome back, folks. We have our man, Mr. Bud Rolfs, on today, folks. Bud had his own program on TFNN for approximately 10 years. He's been retired for a couple of years. He's just like Babe Ruth. He's coming back, folks, and the bottom line is coming back for an outstanding education of what is going on in the market, number one right now, but how you can basically take advantage of it and understand what is happening in the market. He has a special report that's coming out. It's going to be out on Thursday with a hour-and-a-half webinar. You can come over to our website at TFNN. That webinar, by the way, will be on your page for over a full month. So, Bud, so we were talking about exactly, you know, what you're going to be talking about here. Oh.
At the webinars,
yes.
You know, you're going to get 90 minutes of information, and for some folks, that's like trying to take a drink out of a fire hose because, you know, you're pumping a lot of information out, and you know, in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to send out if you sign up for this, Tom, and I think we got a price of $179 for this webinar. If you sign up for this at TFNN.com, we're going to send you out immediately an executive summary. It's 11 pages.
Oh, cool. I get it. Okay, great.
Okay, we're going to send you out an executive summary, so you'll be able to read through the highlights of this.
Yes.
And it is chock full of examples with charts that lead you up. It gives you the concepts. There's about 8 technical analysis concepts that we use to build our case for what we think is going to happen in the markets over the next 4 years.
And I have it right in front of me, folks.
So we talk to you about these little concepts, and then we give you examples of these concepts in action. Not in the market, but I mean, they're actual examples of stocks or whatever, but we kind of build slowly, and you show them in stocks or whatever, and then or ETFs or something, and show them how they worked, how those concepts worked in lesser things than the major markets.
No.
And then we show you these same patterns as they exist in the major markets currently, and what those mean for the major markets as far as direction goes, either up or down. So
right.
It's not like we're just giving you our gas bag opinions. We're showing you these technical analysis models and how they actually turned out before historically, and how they are set up to turn out in the major markets. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get this 11-page executive summary first, and then you'll get a 90-minute webinar. We'll go into more detail there to make sure you really understand it. And, Tom, there's money-making stuff in here. I'm planting in there, in these models and examples, stocks that show you where they're going.
Yes.
I don't want to give away stuff. But
I can tell you this, folks. I didn't realize, Bud, that so you get the executive summary plus you got the webinar. And I can tell you, folks, I'm looking at the executive summary. And the executive summary, which I had said to Bud, is really a clear, concise, short book of exactly, what and how Bud looks at the market. And I can tell you, folks, clarity in the market is really important. And it's pure clarity. That's meaning that Bud's going to explain, okay, if this happens, that happens. If this happens, that happens. And, as Bud said a little bit earlier, that an hour and a half, there's going to be a lot in there. But I can tell you that the clarity that is inside the way that his technical analysis is clear as a bell. So it's really cool, man. It's no doubt.
Right. Just as an example, Tom's reading the executive summary. There's a blue chip company that I point out and use as an example to show you that's doing something, and it's halfway toward going where it's going to go. And if you do what I suggest you do there, there's a 30% return on that blue chip company that you can get over the next 12 to 18 months. And it's just laying there for you to pick up. So there's money to be had just in the executive summary, just as I show you examples of what's in this stuff. So I'm telling you, there's gold in them our hills, and it's there to be had, and I'm going to load it up for you in this webinar, folks.
And, folks, the way you do it, just come over to our website at TFNN. It's right on the front page. You'll see it right there. It's $179. You get the executive summary. You get the webinar. It's an hour and a half. It's next Thursday night, so it's a week from tonight. It's from 8:30 to 6:30, rather, Eastern Time to 8 o'clock. And remember, folks, that webinar will also be on your page for a full month. So you'll have the summary, you'll have the webinar, and most important, though, folks, you're going to get the education of a lifetime from Bud Rolfs. Just absolutely amazing. So here, I know, in retirement, your daughter had triplets. Now, how old are they now?
They were just one back on February 6th. Okay,
amazing.
And you know what's amazing to me? I mean, this just blew my mind. I mean, I know this is natural and stuff, it's the way things work, but they were born February 6th, a year ago.
Yes.
And they weighed a total of a little over 16 pounds.
All three of them?
All three of them.
Okay, that makes sense. I got 5 1/3. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, that's a lot, right? I mean, a normal woman has an 8 or 9 pound baby, and she feels like,
Oh, yeah.
So my daughter-in-law was carrying 16.5 pounds of baby. So, So first of all, that was amazing. But they, a year later, the three of them weighed a total of about 64.5 pounds.
Wow.
1 year. I said to her, "What are you feeling? What are you feeding them? Whale milk?"
That is amazing, man. Life's a trip, isn't it? That is so cool.
Isn't that a trip?
It really is, man. It really is. And how's Nancy and your son?
The fabulous Nancy. I mean, those of you who remember my show, you know, I'll tell you, one of the greatest blessings of my life was I stumbled into the fabulous Nancy back. I went to West Point from 1969 to 1973, and you could not be married at West Point. That was the rule. And so I graduated from West Point on June 6, 1973, Tom. I married the fabulous Nancy on June 17, 1973, and the only mistake I made was I wasted 11 days.
I know. I love that. Isn't that amazing, folks? It is so cool. It's amazing. It really is. That is
and
so
this
cool.
June 17th, the fabulous Nancy and I will be married for 40 years.
Wow.
So we're celebrating our 40th anniversary together, and I plan on being in charge for the next 40. I told her.
Good luck with that.
She's had her 40. Now I get mine.
Oh man, that is so cool, bud. That is so cool. Well, listen, you know, we're really looking forward to the webinar, bud. You know, you sound great, you feel great, and you know, it's great to have you back. And folks, you know, I know many of you heard me say that, you know, this is like Hotel California. And you know what? This is the ultimate in Hotel California, because we got our man, Mr. Bud Rolfs, walking right in the door again, you know? See that, Bud? Once you're in, you can't get out. Listen, man, you have a great night, safe night, and of course, you know, this is as good as it gets. You know, I said to Bud earlier, folks, okay, Bud and I were talking earlier, and you know what's so cool is that we all love what we do, okay, and you know, you got to make money to have a good life, okay, but life, folks, is about Bud Rolfs, about the Tigers and Tigresses, about a good education, you know, it's, you know, we want to be right more than we're wrong. There's no two ways about that. But what's so cool is that when Bud and I were talking, I was actually getting the chills. And it was so cool, man, when you can sit in your chair and, you know, you talk with someone that you're really tight with anyway. And I says, man, this is so cool that, you know, you're doing this, number one. You're coming back. Because what Bud was saying to me, do you think, you know, people will remember me? Remember me. Folks, you know all your Tigers and Tigers out here. Bud Rolfs will always be the king of channels, the king of PTRs, the king of trading ranges. I mean, that's the bottom line, Bud. And it's awesome, man. And I can tell you, personally, it's what it's all about, you know? Because when you melt the life with education, with a great spirit, that's the name of the game, you know, because we know that we all can have hard days, but if you do that, folks, what ends up happening is that you're always going to do the right thing. You're going to go forward, and, you know, I always read those cards that you'll get exactly what you're asking for, you know. So listen, man, we really appreciate it. You tell everyone we said hi, and I absolutely just can't wait for that report. Yeah, I have the report, but I know the clarity inside not only the report but inside your webinar, man. And
well, you know, Tom, it's just like you get out of life what you put into it.
Yeah.
And it's not what happens to you; it's what you do about it. And I always try to keep the sun in my heart.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? Oh, okay, folks, we're going to push him a little bit more because, you know, okay, so let's get you back. What we definitely need, and folks, Bud Rolfs has the best poems in the world, okay? So this doesn't have to be next week, but you're going to have to call us in, you know, because we missed the Veterans poem and the July 4th poem, and, you know, we're going to need a good poem, all right?
All right, Tommy.
Love you, pal.
Love you too, Tom.
Okay, man. Have a great one. Have a safe one. And wait till you hear his poems, folks. They're absolutely extraordinary. There's no doubt about it. Come over to our website at TFNN. You're going to see it right on the front page, folks. Great education right here, right now. You just stay right there, folks. We're coming right back.